Today we're going to talk about a kill plot. What is a kill plot? What defines a kill plot? To me, a kill plot is defined by how it fits into the management goals and plans of your property. Right now I'm standing in a 30 by 20 foot little food plot, about the size of a 3-car garage, and we have bedding to the east, we've got bedding to the north, we've got a little bit of cover between this food plot and to the west of us, about 60 yards, is the main destination food plot. It's the actual our backyard food plot that you've seen a lot of our videos, and we'll be doing some videos on that in the near future. But anyway, we don't hunt this plot. This is purely for testing seed, and we just like watching deer, so we can see it from the house. but anyway, so just for argument's sake, let's say we do hunt this. We have an approach from the south, and we would hunt on the south side of this on a north wind, northeast, or northwest wind. We're not going to hunt any other wind in here. But this is a secluded plot. And what we treat these kill plots, we want the deer, kind of like when we go on a trip, we stop at a gas station, grab a soda, grab some snacks, and then continue on our way. We want the deer to do the same thing. We want them to stop in here, grab a couple bites to eat, hit a mock grapevine, maybe if we have a water source in here as well, kind of a one-stop shop here, but they are all going to eventually head off to the main destination food source. Now we've got a really good food source in here for them. This is our Seclusion 360 blend we developed with Jake Elinger of Habitat Solution 360s. It's 65% chicory, 35% clover. Now why did we choose that for this particular plot? I really like this chicory. We have found through the years that as it gets colder, as we get closer to November, this chicory just gets absolutely demolished. There's a little bit of browse pressure in here, not much, but as we get to that magic time of the year, they really turn on this. Now, the white clover component in this seclusion mix has gone dormant because we're in a drought here, severe drought. But the chicory, as you can see, is doing outstanding. So if you've got dry food plots, this might be something you want to take a look at. But anyway, because we've got so much light, and I'll show you later, but as I'm looking south, there's a lot of light that gets into this food plot, a lot of sunlight, so we can go with a broadleaf plant like a clover or a chicory. A plot this small, I would not do brassicas because it would get eaten to the ground. So that's one of the things when you're doing a food plot like this, a kill plot, you want to make sure you've got something that's going to regenerate. Our seclusion mix with the clover chicory, as long as you've got sunlight. I really like our fall forage in these in these kill plots, or just straight cereal rye. I would not do brassicas in this particular little food plot because once they get a taste for those brassicas, they'll level this in a matter of days. Brassicas aren't going to come back very easily. They can't take the browse pressure. So again, sunlight's going to dictate what I can plant in here. Browse pressure and size is also going to dictate, but 9 times out of 10, more than likely we're not going to put a brassica type food in these little tiny food plots. So how we built this food plot was about 8 or 9 years ago. We came in here, chainsaw, and knocked down the underbrush. It was kind of a natural opening, but we just had to help it a little bit. You can see a few stumps in here. We had some cedar trees that were dying, had some tamaracks that were dying. We cleaned that all out, took the riding lawnmower in here, knocked everything else down, sprayed Roundup, let it sit a few weeks, came in with some rakes, raked up all the duff and everything, spread. I believe we started with rye for the first 3 or 4 years just because it's so easy to grow. Eventually transitions to our fall forage, and then this year we frost seeded the seclusion, so we have a perennial in here. And that's what we're going to go with for a while. Now, again, like I said, because of the sunlight that can get in here, we will be able to have a successful perennial food plot in here with clover. But these are a very critical part of the habitat design of this area. Again, we don't hunt this, but had we chosen to hunt this, every time we have cameras in here, into October, early November, we always have some of the nicest bucks in the neighborhood come by and hit one of these trees. So that's just something to keep in mind as you're designing kill plots. Make sure you can get into them. Make sure you can have the right food growing per the sun and the soil conditions. Make sure you can be undetected, but make sure the deer have something else to go to. You don't want the deer to spend the last couple of minutes of daylight right here. We want them to go somewhere else. Okay, and a lot of the again, we call them kill plots. You know, some people call them micro plots. But anyway, one of the things that we've found is when they're tucked up to the bedding area, we've seen a lot of daylight movement. You know, 9 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm starting to run a lot of the Tacticam cameras that we sell, and we're getting 10 o'clock in the morning. We're getting pics from, you know, multiple little kill plots throughout the farms we take care of. So that's something to keep in mind too. So if you're looking for those all-day sits, you know, that 9 o'clock in the morning to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, one of these might be what you're looking for. So not hard to build, but very critical on seed choice, very critical on access, and very critical that the deer have some place to go to when it gets towards that evening. So I'll take you to the next food plot we've got that we actually do hunt. It's about 300 yards east of here. We'll take a look at that one next. Just wanted to jump on the back side of the camera here and show you what this chicory looks like. We're in the middle of a drought here in Upper Michigan, and this chicory is doing outstanding. You can see some of the white clover starting to come back down here. We're going to overseed some red clover into here, but this chicory for these kill plots that can get a decent amount of sun, very impressive. Okay, so we're at our second food plot of the day. We're on a 35-acre piece right across the street from our house that we do hunt. We're on the extreme west edge of it, and we've got about a 60-yard walk to the county road. So we're on a probably 50-foot by 30-foot wide clay knob that's about 10 feet higher than the surrounding area. Now, when we found this spot, there was a natural opening here. We had to take some saplings out and then trim some of these balsams up a little bit. But we chose this spot, one, because it was a lot easier to put the food plot in, two, but it was actually because the access and the location in relation to everything else around here, it was actually a good spot. So we got kind of lucky with this spot. What we have here is I'm facing north against south behind us. We've got 250 yards away, we've got an 1.5 acre rye food plot that the deer seem to hit at night. Again, we've got someplace for them to go. Dead north of us is about 200 yards away is an apple orchard one of the neighbors has that seems to attract a lot of deer at night. Or the third option for the deer to go is to stop here, do what they need to do, grab a bite to eat. We've got a water hole right on the edge of the swamp. We've got a mock vine here that they're already hitting here. Or, you know, obviously they got the food in the plot. They stop in here for a little bit and then they can eat. They head across the street to our house. So again, we've got 3 options for the deer to go for the last hour of darkness. Now, we've got cameras in here, we've got pictures in here all day. On this particular plot, there's pictures in here all day. So what we've found traditionally, we've got to be in here 3 hours before dark. The deer seem to bed. You can see where the swamp starts. It drops down about 10 feet. And when we were setting the camera up, we had deer blowing at us. We weren't very quiet getting in here, but we had some deer snorting at us. So they bed very, very close to this food plot. But what we did here, again, about 8 years ago, we came in, found the spot, took the saplings out with a chainsaw, trimmed up these balsams, and then we took a harrow drag, which is that it looks like round steel bar that's kind of woven together. We came in here and scratched the top eighth of it, of the ground, spread cereal rye. After we did a treatment of Roundup, we spread cereal rye, buried that cereal rye by flipping that harrow drag over, and it grew well. So we've had cereal rye in here for about 8 years now. This spring we came in here and frost seeded some red clover, but this soil is probably the worst I've ever had to deal with. It's a pH of 4.5. It's an organic matter of less than 0.5%, so it's really bad stuff. But you know, guess what? We're not all blessed with that Midwest topsoil that so many folks are so fortunate to be hunting on. But you know, we'll make do. So we've got the rye to grow every year, and it does well with, you know, fertilizer and lime. We're working on it, but the red clover has started to grow in here. It didn't do as well as I thought because of the drought. I mean, it almost completely shut down, but we've had a rain on and off the last month. It's starting to come back. The rye's starting to do well. We've got rain in the forecast. We're probably going to overseed some more rye in here, but I'm pretty happy with what we've got right now, considering the environment we've been put in this summer. So what we've got, though, is we've got an opportunity to come in off the county road. We're going to look at the bow stand in a minute. We come in off the county road through some we come in off the county roads through some cattails. We've got a trail through the cattails. We can come up a hill, hidden by brush, climb into the bow stand, okay, for the most part undetected. And then when it's time to leave, we've got really good access to get out of here. But again, this was created with hand tools, planted with hand tools. I do believe we used a riding lawnmower or maybe our four-wheeler to do the harrow drag. But if you wanted to invest an hour of sweat equity just raking in the seed, you can do that too. But that's one of the things with this particular plot, because it's very hard clay, very dry up on this knob. It dries out really quickly. I found the best results we've gotten with the bigger grain, cereal grain, the rye, is to bury the seed. So even though we had red clover planted, we still came in with the harrow drag, scratched up the surface, and it didn't really kill the clover. It just set it back a little bit. It came back, as you can see, we've got a lot of red clover in here. But we got the rye seed buried, covered, and we had an 1/8 inch of rain 2 days later, and it's actually doing well. Now, another problem we have in here, and we hear a lot about this problem from a lot of our customers throughout the country, turkeys. We've got a big turkey problem in here. So if we were to try to come in here and no-till this, last year we tried to do a no-till program in here. It was a complete failure. One, we were in a drought again. We didn't have rain until probably shut off around mid-July. We didn't have rain until late September. So this food plot wasn't green until middle October. Well, you're halfway through the Michigan bow season. The first third of the season is just about over with. So that's why we chose to bury the seed this time. But we've got a lot of folks that have a turkey problem. And as fast as they put the seed down, the turkeys are eating it. So again, there we recommend burying the seed whatever way you can. You know, we've actually had customers take a pallet and put a bunch of longer nails in it, and that becomes their harrow, and then they flipped it over and with the smooth part of the pallet to bury the seed. But very important in this particular situation that you get the seed covered. So this is our second kill plot. We actually do hunt this. We've hunted this probably in the last 8 or 9 years, 25 or 30 times, and I don't recall having to spook deer off of it because we've got something else for them to go to. They come here, again, like we talk about the pit stop on a trip, come in here, grab a bite to eat, sip of water, maybe mess around with the vine a little bit, and then go on their way and do what they need to do for the rest of the night. So that's how we define a kill plot. That's how we plant kill plots. We do have good sunlight to the south, so we could go with that seclusion mix, but the soil is so bad in here, we just choose to do the red clover, and that's struggling at best right now because of the drought. But this is how we treat a kill plot. This is how we create a kill plot. You know, and if you need to create some on your property, kind of pay attention to your access, pay attention to your seed selection, sunlight, and you should have a successful food plot. Once again, I just wanted to jump behind the camera. We've got red clover growing, we've got rye growing. It's doing quite well. Now you can see right along this line where we stopped seeding. That's because the southern sun does not get to that, so we didn't even bother seeding that. But this is the bow stand, is right here, well hidden. Access is right down the hill through some cattails to the county road, which is about 60 or 70 yards away. Very critical on these kill plots not to be detected. So neat little spot tucked in the woods, and I'm sure by the end of the day there will be deer in here. So we do probably want to do a little bit of overseeding. If this rain that they're predicting shows up, we can run out here and drop some cereal rye. But probably need some fertilizer in here to get this clover a boost. But it's doing okay, and you can see there's browse pressure in here already. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in a few days.